Welcome, fellow armchair generals. This is Gamer 1745 here. I thought I would make a brief video on the Hearts of Iron 4 developmental diary. And a couple of people had asked various questions on my channel or during a chat. One particularly that they were sort of sad that national unity was going away, so I sort of had to explain that it was in essence being split between war support and stability. So yes, going away, but now even better that there's two different values there. And I was sort of surprised that the viewer didn't realize that beforehand. And so not that just that people weren't paying as close attention as they might to the developmental diaries or where they're hearing from them. So I thought I would make a video going over this. And of course, this is one of Podcat, really featuring some really nice things. Control groups. I'll read this quickly. This might actually become one of my favorites. Was reminded about this in a forum thread about UI improvements people wanted and realized I had totally forgotten how nice it was. You can now hit Control number to save any selection and then hit that number key again to bring it up. It works with any selection, not just division, so you can mark areas, air wings, and jump between them quickly. Double tapping the number key moves the camera to the selection. Sounds great. I'm not a big keyboard player. I'm preferably a mouse. Want to click on things. Keyboards are good shortcuts for people who like and know how to use them. But great feature. Happy it's being implemented. Hope everyone will love that. Okay, consolidate divisions. This is another rather great improvement to the game. I'll quickly read that. Sometimes after hard battles or when you're cut off from reinforcement supply can end up with a lot of divisions at low strength. Sometimes you need them at full strength right away and can't wait for them to fill up normally. The DLC will come with a new feature that allows you to consolidate divisions together into fewer full strength or as close as one can get. Units will move towards the strongest division and transfer their manpower and equipment when they get there. This system also handles doing it with many divisions, in which case it will try to form as many full strength ones as you can. Now, this is a really important feature, I think more so than people may quickly realize. Units not at full strength aren't a bad thing, but where one aspect that I can quickly come to mind is in movement. If you have a panzer division or any sort of motorized or like a mechanized division without enough trucks or other mechanized transports, that division will slow down and will actually even be slower than a walking infantry division. And it sort of does make sense in that if you have a bunch of heavy equipment that you, as the game maybe sort of presume would be towed by horse artillery or horses towing the artillery or something, you don't have those horses, but you also don't have the trucks or the prime movers to move them. You're more stuck than without them. So if you have a few motorized divisions somewhere and you need to consolidate your equipment to make one fully motorized division, that sounds like a winner to me. I think it can be very useful in the field to do that. And this is my favorite thing, something I've been wanting since they first were showing footage of Hearts of Iron 4. Minimap and pinging. A minimap is something Hearts of Iron 4 was designed to live without, but there is clearly part of the community that really misses it, so you can now get it as part of the DLC if you want. It also comes with some new functionality for multiplayer. You can ping the map to illustrate to allies of things you are discussing, like where you want them to defend or push, or as a quick reminder, like watch out, there's Russians about to encircle you. Okay, yes, the minimap, great, wonderful. I know a lot of the dev team and their internal people like to play with generals commanding the troops, draw the front lines, draw the advance, and then let it go. That's the way they sort of designed and thought people mostly want to play, and people may mostly want to play that way. I'm a micromanager player. But even if you aren't, as you can see here, if you're Britain, you've got stuff in the Pacific, you've got stuff in Britain, you've got stuff in North Africa, and even though you can zoom all the way out and zoom all the way, zoom all the way out of here and then zoom all the way back in here to reasonably quickly, you don't have to like scroll all the way over. Oh, okay, here it is, and hunt it down. You don't have to quite do that with Hearts of Iron 4, but now you can just click the area and you're there. And that is so much better, whether it's for multiplayer or single player. This is going to make this game so much better. I'm so glad that they've announced this. Now, to me, the pinging element is good, is nice, but is also showing up another deficiency in Hearts of Iron 4 that wasn't deficient in Hearts of Iron 3, names on the map. They had some design thoughts at the beginning, and as they said, it was designed to live without the mini-map. They very much expressed that they wanted a very clean look for Hearts of Iron 4 and thought a mini-map would clutter it up. And it does add a clutter, but clutter versus functionality. And something that, how many of you really still play with? Day-night cycles. This is what looks like it's missing from this map here, is day-night cycles. They need that parabellum wave or whatever you want to call it of the day-night cycles to go on to show time moving, so you know the game's moving faster or slower or how fastly the day is going, because once in a while you still want to know what time of day it is locally without turning on or off the day-night cycles, because that is just annoying, especially at high speeds. Nobody plays with day-night cycles, really. I don't ever really see anybody stream with day-night cycles, so I presume most people aren't. Something that they really wanted, put a lot of effort into with the moon shadows and all this stuff, and it looks all cool to, have the lights come on over Paris or something at night. But it's really useless eye candy, and it should be down here in the mini-map. So I just don't see it here. I wish they would add it to the mini-map, day-night cycles. So that's a deficiency of it. And the other deficiency is, like I say, was province names, so that you can quickly go. They're encircling you at City Barani, and somebody who sort of knows, in Egypt or whatever. And yes, you can use this neat ping function and whatever, but they would know where you meant by seeing the names on the map. And so they thought it would be clutter to the map, and they wanted the really nice graphics to the maps, and only having the victory provinces get names. I think I am fine with being able to turn things on and off, and as they say, the minimap can be toggled to a closed state if you like, and you can still use the pings through the keyboard shortcuts. Well, great. So if you don't like this, you got this nice little thing here. It goes away. Fine, great. If it's like I'm really glad that they did put the day-night cycle button to be able to turn it off. So, and turn it back on if you do want to see. And like mentioning that, well, why would you want a day-night cycle? Well, I know if you know anything about like World War II, they did the channel dash, in which I think it was Prince Eugen that was out in Brest, that they had it dash up the channel to get back into safer territory with better air cover. And the Germans, did it at night and tried to give as much air cover as possible, so that if you wanted to try to do a channel dash of a ship or something like that, to send it out at night, get it into a harbor before daylight, have air cover, that kind of thing. Again, it's highly micromanaging, but maybe highly important and critical, and you want to see that day-night cycle happening to know when to launch it, when to get it into port. So it can have a practical offense, but really most of the time it doesn't. But it's nice to see it flowing down in the corner to show you the general speed in which the days are going by. Yeah, I know we have other means to see, but that's just a nice sort of immersive, informational, almost subconscious kind of feel of time flowing, or the lack of time flowing, in that if you have the game paused, you can realize, oh, it's on pause, that's why it's not flowing. Because once in a while I forget to take it off pause after doing some things. So day-night cycle. And yes, I would like to see provincial names back. I wouldn't mind them to be able to turn on and off. Just have a button. Now, you can talk about it's a lot of effort, maybe a lot of effort for little reward. Well, yeah, but it's something that maybe should be open for modders or whatever, maybe eventually instigated. Okay, kick from faction. With Cornflakes, it will now be possible to kick nations from your faction in the form of new diplomatic action. Okay, Italy would be forced to leave from the Axis. The countries you kick might retaliate against you. Are you sure you want to kick Italy from the faction? This I'm not so sure of. Let's see. Since this stuff is intended to tend to lead to some exploiting in the past, players kicking off members one by one, etc., we have been working on how the AI sees the stuff to make it handle a few things. Kicking is possible in wartime also. We have been putting a lot of time into dealing with how HOI4 handles wars and codes. Basically, underlying system has been completely remade to stop wars merging and from ruining your wars or getting nations dropped or including in ways that you don't expect. It is one of those non-sexy things that you can't really show, but that is going to make things feel a lot better and avoid edge case bugs messing up your day. This also allows us much more flexibility when we want to handle wars in the future. Okay, well, I'm dubious about this, as you can maybe tell. You do have countries leaving factions. Famously, Italy said, we're out of here, Germany, and they actually became not quite allied, but co-belligerent, is what they were called, fighting alongside the Allies against Germany. Then you have Romania switching sides, Hungary, Bulgaria, Finland. Yeah, it switched sides because it combated German units within Finland, although they were a little bit more moving towards neutral. So you have some of that. You have, I can't right now think of right offhand somebody that was kicked out of a faction. Yugoslavia also famously in the Axis faction, and it had a coup that allowed after the coup the new government leaves it. I can just see it as abusive, like they say, one by one. We're doing world conquest games. Well, thank you, Italy. Now that you've helped us conquer the enemy, we're going to kick you out and then attack you. If it has some massive penalties, including with your other allies may turn on you, I could see that as okay. Well, thanks for watching. Thanks for liking the videos. If you haven't already, please subscribe. And please post questions, comments, suggestions, ideas. Thought about live blogging this. Let me know if you would think that'd be a good idea in the future for if you want to chat about it. See you next time for more Hearts of Iron.